Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're a new viewer here, my name is Savannah and I am an illustrator and motion designer, currently freelancing because I got laid off from my job this month. So, I wanted to share this drawing because it'd been sitting on my iPad for a while and I realized I never shared it. It's one of my favorite portfolio pieces right now, which is funny because when I was making it, I really hated it. I actually completely forgot that I had done these character sketches leading up to the painting, and I kind of want to go back and rework them so I can put them on my portfolio because I do need more character work in my illustration portfolio. So, anyway, I think initially I was just inspired by this color of green and drawing green people, and then it kind of evolved from there for me to think about what would a freshwater mermaid look like. And then I was like, well, I've never seen an alligator mermaid hybrid or whatever, so I wanted to explore that concept. And I really liked the initial sketch I did of her, so I started doing her at different stages of age. I don't think the one on the right really matches what she would look like based on the front perspective, but I still like both. And I think the biggest difficulty I was having with this is figuring out how to do the scales without drawing every single one because A, that would be really overwhelming, and B, I don't think you need to do that in order to show a texture. I think it can look really busy and overworked. So, anyway, that was a big struggle with this character design, but I honestly think these are some of my best character sketches, and I don't know why I haven't posted them anywhere. I don't even like babies that much, but I do think she's very cute as a baby, especially with the little baby alligator. I think that's so cute. So anyway, for the spread that I'm going to show after I finish these character sketches, I was imagining that she was babysitting these baby alligators for their mom or something. So that was the initial idea. And then I had been looking at some photos of mangroves for some reason, I think prior to drawing this character. And I really liked how alive they felt but how different they are from like ocean wildlife and especially the color of the water. So we're going to get into that after I finish this last profile. And another thing I was wondering was like her nose, how much should that project from her face? Because I think here it's a little bit too much, so I end up flattening it. I don't know if you guys have seen Zora's from Legend of Zelda, but I think I was using that as inspiration as well as like Avatar with the blue people. So anyway, I realized watching back some of my time lapses that I might not draw correctly. Like, usually I draw in shapes and then shave them down instead of having predetermined sketches. And I think that's because I don't really know how I want things to look before making them. And when I do try and sketch things a lot beforehand, they end up getting really tight and stiff. So I don't know. Maybe it takes me longer to finish things, but we get there eventually. So one thing I think I'm really strong at is color, so I really enjoyed mixing the warmer hues of this mangrove root with the cool, like, cerulean turquoise blue and sea green. And I did have a lot of back and forth on the character, like right here. I liked her, and then I thought she just looked clunky. So I'm gonna go back and redo her. And I think the main issue I had with this is I went back and redid things a lot and moved them around. And the issue with Procreate is that once you move something, because it's a raster drawing, it'll get blurry. And I think Photoshop is better at handling that, but I enjoy Procreate the most out of all the drawing apps. I have been messing around with Clip Studio Paint, and that does have vector-based drawing, but you have to turn it on, and I'm not sure if all of the brushes work with it. And in general, I still think Procreate has the best interface of any iPad drawing app. So, anyway, tangent. I think another really complicated thing was with this drawing was the dappled light coming through lily pads and the roots and creating depth so it didn't look super flat. So I get intimidated by environments and plants in general. So I'm glad I pushed myself out of my comfort zone because I painted this maybe over almost 2 years ago and I'm still proud of it. So that's awesome. And I don't have too much more to share that's different from other time lapses I've posted. I don't really like repeating what I'm doing because is pretty much the same for every painting, but as far as brushes, I love the retro MaxPack gouache brush, and that's the one that looks really watercolory. It has the best effect when you have it on a single layer because once you start layering it, it gets kind of opaque and you lose the texture. But that's what I was using to paint her at the beginning. And then I really like the peppermint brush. That's a default brush in the older version of Procreate before they redid the brush library. But there's a lot of similar brushes that you can find and you don't need to purchase them. That's just what I tend to use. And it'd be really helpful if you guys let me know, is there any other information I can talk about in these time lapses that would be helpful because I feel like it gets repetitive after a while. So anyway, if you're still watching, I'll do a little life update. I did get laid off this month, which is not funny, but it's kind of funny that in my last video I posted, which I took down because it did really badly, I mentioned that I was scared of getting laid off just in general, but deep down I was like, oh, it won't happen to me because and this isn't bragging, but like I've been looked at as a high performer in most of my jobs, so it wasn't really ever a worry, but nope, they laid off a bunch of senior people and I don't know what they're gonna do because they had a bunch of work coming in, but anyway, I'm definitely salty about that. But it's a good jump to try and do freelance full time, so I'll be doing that with motion design and illustration, preferably children's book illustration, but I am looking into like, can I get into packaging or patterns, licensing, something of that sort. So hopefully that means more content for this YouTube channel because I had to take a step back because I was just burning out with how much work I was doing on top of my full-time job. Anyway, I've got about 3 good months to get things at least progressing financially, but I've found that it's really hard to be creative when you're stressed out about money. So, the future is uncertain, but I've never had this much free time on my hands, so I would like to make something good come out of this. And I had been thinking about going freelance for quite a while, so hopefully my motion design will help support my illustration since I'm a lot more established in that. Um, and yeah, we'll just have to see. Maybe I'll reopen an Etsy shop and try to make that a thing. And I've debated just doing monthly or maybe bi-monthly videos about freelancing and what's working and what's not, because I figured it'd be helpful for people to follow that journey without having any skin in the game, because I would love to watch that content. But it's not as fun when you're the one with all the risk, right? So we'll see. It's just gotta balance mental health and stress. Um, but anyway, yeah, that's pretty much everything helpful I have to say about this drawing and life. So I'm going to put on music for the rest of it, but I hope you guys learned something from this video. And thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you can. It helps my channel, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.